tutorial, it spoke of interests and feelings. Quite amusing.
Feelings.
Indeed.
You know, it was actually here quite a number, quite a number of cycles ago, back when this was little more than a tiny town that had just set up its first palisade. When I first met one of their kind, they called them back then Metalmen. Most of them didn't look as that one did. They weren't made to look like people. They were made to serve a purpose. There was we would call them now a blacksmith, although he was so much more, who was fascinated by them. His grandfather owned the shop. He was the one I was staying with. I needed some assistance to help me open a ruin that was located nearby. A ruin. Forgive me, not ruin. And he would keep me for a time if I would work for him. Elven craftsmen are rare, especially at those times after the war, after what happened. After what happened to Narleman. And so I offered to stay with him for a time and work. He had a hobby, collecting parts. A warforged that was incomplete. He had two of them. One of them that he was trying to reassemble, although the knowledge of such was well beyond him, and both him and I knew it. And one that looked more like a small can. It was about this tall. It would not do anything. It did not have a purpose, at least one that we could find. But he would speak to it, as if it were a person. Through day and night as he worked. On the bigger one, the one that looked much like that one, but far more dangerous. And the little one eventually started following him about. I would go off. Each time he would prepare a new tool for me, and I would go work on my tomb. Get a little deeper, find the next trap that I would need a new tool to disassemble. Come back out and find him a little bit older, as humans do. The first time I met him, the little one didn't even move. It would just sit in a corner and kind of hum, make a little bit of a sound. But as I returned, and as his grandchild grew up, the two of them would start following each other around his workspace. It had observed what he would do and would find tools for him and things. But of course, as a human, the small changes that happened every day, he didn't notice. Sure, it had started moving, but he didn't realize it would pick up the tools at the end of the day. Return them to where they had been. He thought it was his son doing it, or grandson. I came back many cycles, decades. The final time I returned to Adwick, they had finished the palisades by then, and decided it was going to be a town, or perhaps a city one day, so the humans said. A city on a slope, what an interesting concept. The grandfather, of course, had passed away. It was his grandsons now, Smithy. He had never completed the great weapon that he had been trying to fix. Of course he couldn't. No one could. The knowledge was lost. But the little one. Now I found it not just following them around and resetting the tools, but it seemed that it would try to help in its way. It would try to bring tools to him where he was working. He would not have to ask if he needed a fitting or a fastening. It would try to bring it to him. That child too, grandchild, grew. I had opened my tomb finally and finished my work in it, a work of a matter of a century or so. The grandson now was an old man, and he was passing away. We had established what would pass for a friendship with a human. Authorial, he told me. I have never succeeded at what I was building. He was talking of the Great Warforged, the weapon. Neither him nor his grandfather could make it, could fix it. At his bedside, the little one, the one that looked so much like a pile of garbage. It would serve him cups of water. It had no soul. It did not speak. It had found a purpose. When he died there, the little one returned the cup back to the kitchen, went to its corner, and shut off. And in the centuries since, it has not moved, to my knowledge. It is still there.